Hello and welcome to the Pancake Parlay episode 13. I am your host, The Don, and I'm here with...
Chatters, how's it going?
Going really well. A little bit of housekeeping, as always. You can always reach us at pancakeparlay@gmail.com, as well as on Stitcher, Libsyn, Online Radio, and split topic by topic on YouTube channel Marketing Movies. So today what we're going to be talking about is, we're going to talk about a little bit of, the new Avengers trailer and where we think it's going to go. We're going to talk about some Punisher, Orville, and the, basically the DC crossover, which is Crisis on, X Infinite Earths? Is that what they're calling it?
No, that's the comic. I believe it's Crisis on Earth X.
Yeah, gotcha. Like it does, do you really care about the naming of it though?
Look, they're different things. And I think, given that, DC is definitely, they love using the term crisis since, it does, refer to very, legacy comics that are very well known among, fans of comics. Crisis on Infinite Earths, Crisis on
Identity Crisis.
Identity Crisis. And the prediction is, the events that are happening in the comics now might lead to what's known as Forever Crisis, which is a little bit of a prediction of what's going to be the thing that'll happen post Rebirth or after or during Rebirth kind of thing. The Forever title is kind of taken from a little saga in the New 52 called Forever Evil, where all the villains kind of took over. The Prime Earth, or the Earth that the main comics are set in, and some evil, doppelgangers of, the DC heroes took over, which is kind of a little bit of, what's going on in Crisis X, but, we'll get to it, when we do.
Yeah, we'll definitely will.
Well, the latest, Avengers trailer got released.
Yes, it did. It blew up the internet. It was hype. I think it was maybe a little bit too overhyped. Everyone's like, when is it coming out? When is it coming out? And I'm like, yeah, it's coming out this time. And everyone lost their mind. I'm like, I don't know. Once again, we live in a hype machine, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I think this is kind of supposed to be the movie that, everybody, Marvel has been
building up to. But then they split it. So, from what I heard, but it's Avengers 4 is going to be completely different. So I think Thanos is not even really going to be a part of this, or if he does, he dies. But then Avengers 4, I don't know. But once again, it's one of those weird things. But let's talk about the trailer. So what'd you think about it? Because honestly, when I first saw it, I'm like, okay, the setup is it's very basic. I guess there is really no real setup. It just shows that they're just characters in particular areas, and Thanos is there with his alien army. Set up a beam in the sky. It's now pods on the ground, and fighting basically the whole trailer, more or less.
Yeah. Look, to be honest, I think that this movie in general, and maybe the trailer as well, looks very similar in terms of what the plot of Justice League was, right? Again, spoiler, podcast, listeners.
So if we haven't seen Justice League, even though it made okay money, but everyone's saying it's a bomb, but whatever.
I think given the amount of money that was put into the movie, I think, I don't know if it's declared a bomb, yet. But yeah, I think this movie is definitely doing, kind of the very same, when I say the same thing as Justice League, I mean it more in the sense of it's a very tried and true kind of
formula
device.
Yeah, formula. An invasion comes over, they have their bunch of minions, but then they come from a foreign place, and then everyone has to band
and you have
up
to gather everyone.
Unite the seven, as it were. But then again, there's five in the movie or whatever. Wrong universe, guys.
Yeah, but I think the difference is with this movie, it is characters that I guess the casual movie audience are familiar with. A lot of diehard comic fans are familiar with. You do have, Spider-Man. You do have, the Hulk's finally back, presumably so. I am pretty happy to see that they do have Thor still with his eye patch. Like, I wasn't too sure whether they were going to commit to having Thor with the eye patch. I actually do like how it looks on him, and maybe like that might be like a really cool kind of extra
Look
thing.
to it, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like him with it. It does make him a little bit more, and also the character is very kind of samey in the comics as well. So it does kind of change up how he looks in general. Kind of flips a little bit of what you expect on the character. So I kind of like that. One change I don't like, and it's just purely like, again, these are the last
the
one was a
nitpicks of
superficial
nitpicks,
change.
yeah.
Yeah, last one was a superficial change, and this is another one. I don't like Black Widow having blonde hair. I don't know if it's happened before. Has she had different colored hair? Like,
I think it was always like, well, that's the thing. In Avengers 2, I think they tried to commit to like the hardcore, like bright red cartoony look, and I think that just in the like when she's on, she was just kind of like more kind of like natural red. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. The blonde kind of like it gets it's her natural hair color, so like they just like whatever. But yeah,
I know the comic character of Black Widow. Like, usually she has very long black hair. Sorry, long red hair.
Yeah, that was the Iron Man 2 look. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very like model. It's very it's very
that's what
hair,
that's what I think like what Medusa was supposed to be like in Inhumans or whatever.
Oh, in Inhumans, right? Yeah.
It's supposed to move around, but then they botched, and no one talks about it. It's like it disappeared, that show, probably for the better.
I mean, I haven't watched Inhumans. It's not on my radar at all, which is a bit of a shame, I guess, because I don't know, like the property is apparently quite good, and Medusa is supposed to be a good character in it. But yeah, like without the moving hair, it kind of takes an element of her character away. But I mean, that's budget constraints. But yeah, like it's not a big deal. I like the utilitarian haircut that she has, like being like an agent, having short hair seems pretty practical. It actually kind of reminds me of I think in the Supergirl TV show, her stepsister basically has the same look, like it's red hair, short, and she's like a spy. So I don't know, like I don't like the blonde just because it just doesn't make sense. But then again, like it probably is because she's gone into hiding, but I think she's with Iron Man.
Yeah, like, once again, I totally forgot majority of the plot for all these things. I just remember there was a split, and Cap's side was with the Black Panther dude. Is Black Panther coming? Is Black Panther before or after?
I believe it's before.
Yeah.
It's got to be before because his movie's coming out soon.
Yeah, like so, like I think it's March or something, but I think this movie's coming out in May or I don't know. There's something like that. By the way, Cap's side
check the timeline.
Because that's the thing. It really it would be it would be weird if it was post, because then it would just be a different world with Black Panther and everything.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think even the Infinity War movie, despite it kind of being like one movie and not like the two that they originally wanted, I'm pretty sure like it's going to have a part 2 of some kind.
Yeah,
right?
that was my kind of theory where I think it's going to go, is essentially what's going to happen is this, like Thanos is going to be like somewhat defeated, but like his minions will show up, and then he'll like zoom back to space or whatever and retreat, and then his minions will come, and then he'll die. The minions will all die or whatever, and then I don't know, something along those lines will happen. That's why I think it's going to do like a Hobbit type of thing, where I think this is going to be like one big build up to like the actual final film, and it's going to be kind of like oh yeah, this happened, and then whatever. So that's the thing. That's my biggest fear, and I like, if we want to talk about like specifically the trailer, the one thing I really didn't like is Loki was there, and he was there with the what is it called, the square? What do you call that again?
Yeah, it's
the starts with T. Starts with T, but yeah, Tesseract. Yeah. Yeah, but
they at the end.
But then it kind of confirms my theory that like Loki is the key character again in these films, and he's more like, he's probably like, if anything, my prediction, and there's it's going to be Loki betrays them all again for one final time, and then he'll die, and then that's it for the character.
You reckon he'll die in this film?
Well, once again, I want him to die in Thor 2, and he just doesn't die. So, but I'm like, he's going to do the ultimate betrayal again and then that's gonna be like the final straw, and he has to pretty much die.
Well, I kind of thought in Thor 3, we didn't talk about it in our last podcast, but I'm pretty sure when he is sent to go and get the crown or the horns to start Ragnarok, he goes past the Tesseract that's being held there, and he kind of looks at it, and I think from there that's when you kind of know that he was going to come back and get it, or he gets it on his way out. Or something. And I think that's probably what the case is for Infinity War. It's probably, he has, maybe it could be that, maybe
he has it, but the real question is he going to betray him? And it's like, again, like, that's what I'm saying. I feel like we're retreading old ground with these films. I'm like, oh, look, Loki betrayed you again and again. It's like, oh my god. Just get it over. Well, that's why I don't really like the recurring of him. It's like he's like the only good villain in the thing, but they keep him forcing him into everything. So it's kind of like, just stop, please.
Well, I mean, his behavior is expected, I guess. Like, it's like kind of that's what like
the trickster god, yeah.
The trickster god, yeah. Like, he's always going to betray them. But I think maybe this was the big like ruse in the end. Like it's. Maybe it will kind of be he steals it, and he might have stolen it for Thanos, which is a throwback to the first Avengers movie. Yeah. Because that was his whole goal. Like it was supposed to, he was supposed to help with the invasion of Earth. Which, to be honest, like it'll be interesting to see because, Tony gets, a bit of PTSD from like kind of seeing, I guess, the edge of space and almost dying. That's kind of what leads into, like Iron Man 3 and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see, like, whether, there's some consistency with, kind of his fear of Thanos. Like, you do see him in the trailer, fighting Thanos. Also, what do you think of how Thanos looks?
So that's the thing. I'm not really one of those superficial people that cares about a particular costume or anything like that.
But are you calling me superficial? How dare you?
No, I'm just saying there's always the sides. It's the thing. It's like, but if I want to play what all the, news outlets want to do when it comes to DC films, they'll talk about how he changed costume, he looks weird, maybe the CGI isn't finished and he looks like a big CGI villain. But that's what the news outlets would do if it was a DC film. But I don't really care about the looks of things. So long as it's just like the character is right. But once again, Thanos' character is basically as bland as something like Doomsday. There's no real story there, I guess.
Well, I mean, he is literally like knockoff Darkseid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's what interests me. I'm like, what are you gonna do to interest me in this villain aside of him being a big bad person? And if there isn't like a docking point for like reviews, if he's just a generic villain, then to me, I feel like it's a little bit shady.
Well, in the comics at least, his goal is essentially to impress what is it?
The incarnate of death, yeah, like the woman, yes. Yeah. But the thing is, I doubt they're probably gonna do. I doubt it. But
they'll probably do something similar to it, just because other than kind of power for its own sake, right? It could be something like that. I think the movie will more likely lean towards like he comes to Earth because there's multiple people on this planet that has the Infinity Gems that he's looking for. He's got the Mind Gem. They have the, I believe, the Tesseract. They have.
Well, that's the thing. You can see, like, I feel like whatever they showed in the trailer is not what it shows. Like, for example, when you see Vision, his gem essentially is the way he lives. I'm assuming he just doesn't die. You didn't just show me he's like him dying per se. Like, I feel like
probably.
Like, I don't know, like a trailer just showing you, oh yeah, by the way, this is exactly where he dies. Like, it's kind of a spoiler, but.
Oh, well, I mean, the thing is, like, we don't know. It's a bit, like, again, a lot of the parts of the trailer is, picking, like, dramatic parts from...
Well, speaking of dramatic parts, how do you feel about the mech Spider-Man suit? Because, like, I'll be honest, I saw the leak, I saw the leaked Comic-Con footage. There were a few things that were there, weren't there, and I know that Spider-Man suit thing was there. So how do you feel about that? Because, like, once again, I'm not a fan of that. That's, like, my one petty thing of visual looks. I just don't like the suit, the whole metal suit thing. Because
I mean, I don't
gives him
mind.
an excuse, I guess, to have like thrusters, so if he has to go to space, he can.
Yeah. I mean, with like the suit that it's supposed to at least kind of semi-play homage to. Not really, because I think it doesn't actually look anything like it. Is called the Iron Spider. It's in actually the original Civil War, storyline. Tony Stark makes this suit for Spider-Man. Spider-Man like fights in it, and it's got like it's got three kind of arms that he can manipulate. So it's kind of like, if you can imagine, kind of like Doc Ock's, costume, but it's got, instead of like actual three arms, it's just like kind of three little spider legs that can do like kind of like neat things. This suit, like, it's just made out of metal. Like, we kind of see it at the end of
the Spectacular Spider-Man.
Homecoming.
Oh man, I totally forgot what it was called.
We see at the end of Homecoming. I think it looks cool. I think the fact that the original Spider suit, I guess, like in canon with this universe, is made by Tony Stark. It can do just a trillion different things. Like, it's very practical, and that's very different to the kind of spandex costume that we kind of see in the old Tobey Maguire film. And also just like kind of the original Spider-Man is just kind of like, it's a spandex suit. So I think like him getting a metal suit isn't that big of a difference from his current suit, because it'll just be like a really high-tech version of, like a more high-tech version of the suit that he already has. It's just going to be made out of metal. I like the design. The design looks pretty cool. But I think like, he kind of, everyone's power level in this film probably kind of needs to be stepped up a little bit, just because they are going to be facing more threats from the get-go. Like, they're probably not going to just have Hawkeye. Well,
apparently he wasn't even in the trailer, so.
Well, to be honest, nobody really likes Hawkeye. Like, I'm just being honest. Like,
yeah,
it's the same.
One does.
Well, look, okay, I like Jeremy Renner. I like Scarlett Johansson. I just don't think either of these two can hold their own movie. I think they could make a joint movie together. I think that would be very interesting. I know a lot of people have been.
Yeah, everyone wants it, and I think I don't know.
Well, everybody wants a solo.
There was like some sort of semi like rumor news that like Stan Lee kind of hinted that like he knows the lineup, and he's like, yeah, you'll see a Black Widow movie someday. So I'm like, but that could just be whatever. So
yeah,
like that could be the next one, because like the Kevin Feige guys have been like, yeah, we have like 20 movies lined up.
No, but I think like, at one stage in Marvel's development was very similar to what DC is going through, except DC's like having a lot tougher, issues for obviously, good reason. Like, they haven't got their house sorted really. But, there was one time where, they were kind of like, oh, we're going to have this movie and this movie. At one stage they even said they were going to have an Inhumans movie. They were saying like a bunch of stuff that they were going to do, which obviously haven't happened. They never said they were going to have a Black Widow movie from memory, but I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh, it could be could be something that'll happen. I know a lot of like fans want one, but I don't really think so. Like, they kind of, do have to beat, I guess, Wonder Woman now, which is kind of the best solo female superhero movie.
I think it's Origin in total.
Origin,
not even just female, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what they wanted to kind of beat at least DC to. But now everybody, Wonder Woman is more of a house name than it's ever been. Sans like, the old Wonder Woman TV series. Which, is from like the 80s from memory. Anyways, point is,
something like that.
That we do have Captain Marvel coming out, so that might be, Marvel's attempt at trying to introduce, a cool, solo female superhero movie. But we'll see. I'm not too sure. I'm not really a big fan of Captain Marvel, more because I don't know enough, from a media perspective. Like, I don't really consume her comics. I've heard her, Marvel Now comics are horrible, so I haven't been reading any of those.
Yeah, people say Carl Manvers because she looks like a man, and she's more
but
like
she has short hair.
Not only that, but she's more like a fascist than actual fascist. But whatever. Off topic with the politics. What do you feel about the what is it? The Guardians of the Galaxy in the trailer? Because like once again, they're right at the end, and I feel like that's gonna happen. Like they're gonna appear like in the third act, and then that's gonna lead into the next film.
Well, I reckon they're going to be the means to get Thor to Earth.
Yeah.
It will literally be the means to get Thor to Earth, and Thor is probably going to be like the equalizer. Like everyone on Earth is going to have like a bit of trouble because like I don't think they even have Hulk either.
Yeah,
right? I'm assuming. So maybe
I don't think so. No.
So maybe they might have like or it could, because we do see
You see Bruce Banner,
Hulk,
but yeah.
Yeah, you see Bruce Banner, like he's at the House of Mystery. No, maybe I forget whatever. The House of Mystery, I think, is what Constantine's house is. Magic
Yeah,
house.
that's what it is.
I don't know what Doctor Strange's house is, but we see him there. We see Bruce Banner's there, so it could be that maybe Bruce kind of got to Earth a little bit faster than Thor by whatever means. At the very beginning of the trailer, you see him kind of like in a hole, like crashed up in a hole, so he could have came out of nowhere, and is saved by the Sorcerer Supreme. So it could be whatever means they get him, and then Thor is still stuck. I know there's some Comic-Con footage about the Guardians finding him and taking
yeah,
him.
he's on the windscreen. I think there was a scene where I think it was Star-Lord, where it was Doctor Strange was making platforms like in midair, and then I think Star-Lord was jumping him, or one of the characters was jumping him. So that wasn't in the trailer, but that's the thing. I feel like so far they're showing us quite a bit of the action scenes, but still I'm not quite sure what's going to happen in the film. It should be good.
I think I know exactly what will happen in the film. It's going to be like Thanos comes in, invades stuff. He's going to send in his like new minions or whatever it is. They're gonna fight people. They're gonna get defeated maybe. Thor comes in, kind of saves the day. And then, but by then it's going to be too late because Thanos has the time gem, all the gems. He's stolen the gem from, Vision as well. So all their big guns are kind of taken out, but Thor
Vision dies.
I don't think Vision will die. I reckon Vision will probably
He'll
be
turn into like a
human,
I don't know, fucking something. And then
a Newman,
human, and then there's like because you can see they really are playing the whole Scarlet Witch romance thing with that. So
yeah, well, yeah, that's like a thing in the comics as well. So that's very interesting that they are continuing it. It also leads to a lot of cool stuff, at least in the comics, but I don't think it's going to be repeated here. But yeah, with because Paul Bettany's like kind of signed up to do movies now. Before he was just the AI of
for Jarvis.
For Jarvis. But I can see them just kind of being like, oh well, let's get some other power source for him, and they make that, and then he's just chuck an arc reactor in him.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much an easy fix. Just final conclusions. What do you think this What do you think, like, where I said before about Kevin Feige says, yeah, we have like 20 planned or whatever, like we have plans until 2000 whatever. Like, what do you think is going to be the plan at that point? Like, who's going to have their own film?
I guess it really depends on who does well, right? I don't think Iron Man will, unless they get someone new. Because I think Robert Downey Jr. kind of doesn't have to do any more films, like, for the rest of his life. I'm pretty sure. But he kind of likes coming and being like, oh, hey, I like, making guest appearances in films and being like, nice and, I don't know, like, just having a bit of banter with the characters. Like, hey, look, I connect all these films because I was the first one, kind of thing.
I'm the Nick Fury.
Yeah, in a sense. Like, it'd be nice to see, like, if I can throw in, like, a movie I'd like to see, and it would probably be that like, one that probably wouldn't happen, but would be interesting to see because it'd be a little bit different, and a little bit more down to earth, would be that Scarlett Johansson, Raina movie, having Hawkeye, and then, like, maybe reestablish Avengers. Like, sorry, not Avengers, S.H.I.E.L.D. I know S.H.I.E.L.D. has a TV show, but come on, nobody cares. Nobody really cares about the TV show.
Yeah. There was even Ghost Rider at some point, or something like that.
Ghost Rider, yeah. I didn't mind the Ghost Rider in the TV series. That was actually pretty cool. But yeah, like, just, I don't know, just something that kind of keeps, cause I know they're gonna, like, move away from the whole, world ending or galaxy ending event, like, after Infinity War and whatnot, with the beginning of Spider-Man. So we know Spider-Man's getting a sequel. But yeah, like, maybe if the Black Panther film does well, there might be another Black Panther one. Maybe they might do, there's like an arc with like the White Panther, which is like another kind of rival character, I believe.
Is he played by a white guy?
No, I don't think so. I do not think so.
That would be very interesting with the names.
Yeah. What else? There's there could be, Thor 3 did pretty well. So there could be another Thor movie. Yeah, like, I don't know. It in terms of like what potential they could try and add new characters, but I don't really know like what other character I'd really like to see.
Yeah, because a lot of them are like that third edition kind of a little bit more down like characters where they really don't have that much backstory. Like, I know like Iron Man was kind of like a lower villain. I mean, hero at some point.
Hero.
But,
Iron Man was more like a B level hero, at least, like, even like as far as like the 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Oh no, not 90s. Maybe
it was like 70s, I think.
Yeah, like he wasn't as prominent as like, he wasn't a household name like Spider-Man was.
Yeah, pretty much. Because Spider-Man's the basically the one big I think pretty much Marvel hero. It's basically their Batman / Superman. But the way that I see these films happening is that, since the MacGuffin of all MacGuffins, the Infinity Gauntlet, you can pretty much rewrite anything. So I think there is going to be some sort of like, once again, it'll be world ending, but someone's going to have it and then completely rewrite everything that just happened in like the previous, like this film and the next film. So they'll be like, oh, no one's dead, and they come back, but like some things have changed, some things haven't. So like, for example, like, I don't know, what would it be? It could just be like some alternate universe thing or something like that, but like previous villains who've died, like the, Red Skull can come back, and a lot of different things can come back, and then it gives them a very easy excuse to recast, and I think that's what's going to happen. There might not be a Spider-Man, there'll probably be a Captain America, there probably won't be an Iron Man, there may be a recast Thor, I'm not quite sure if they'll just continue on with that because he's like a god or something, because most of these guys are like from Earth and humans and all that crap, but like, yeah, it really depends on where they go, so I think like, they'll maybe try like one or two like different new characters out and see how they work. But like, yeah, I feel like there's going to be like a hard recasting, and it really is like, and then it really begs the question of like, where is this going to go? Like, as in, are people going to be watching these films even though without the characters, or like, because like one of the main things was like, because apparently they're going away from the universe, like these new movies, to be less interconnected after Avengers 4. Like, Avengers 4 is technically the end of the DC EU. Like, everything is connected. So I think what they're going to...
Is that what they actually said?
That's what Kevin Feige said. They want to like do it a little bit less, like everything's building up. Because that's the thing. These films for the past 10 years have been building up to this like one movie, basically. For this one big event. And then once you do that, you have to reboot it and fight Thanos again at some point? Like...
well, yeah, who knows? It's a little bit harder because, I guess, Marvel isn't known to kind of do these kind of things, so it's a little bit unexpected. Not unexpected, but it kind of goes outside the scope. Whereas, like, DC, there is usually, like, something that tries to blow up the universe, or some kind of MacGuffin that, leads to the, universe exploding. So, having characters kind of reboot or fight, different versions of themselves. Like, it'd be interesting to see maybe, that's an area that they can go. Like, why does DC have to get all the doppelganger stuff? Maybe Marvel gets to fight, like, evil Nazi Spider-Man and evil Nazi Iron Man. It might be something that kind of keeps it fresh, at least.
Yeah.